All right, welcome everyone to Joie de Vivre podcast. Today's guest is Johnny. It's a pleasure having you here today. Johnny is a personal coach, and I will let him tell us more about himself.
Thank you so much for allowing me to be on this time frame with you. It's amazing what can be done when people come together to add value to others. And basically, my name is Johnny Morales. Yes, I am a coach. I've done a lot of different things over the years. So to sum up, someone asked me, so what do you specialize in, Johnny? And it made me think because, in my years of living this life, I've been through a lot of different things. I've experienced a lot of different arenas where I've come alongside people to help them grow, to help them, reach their potential, to help reach their goals, to help overcome barriers and get breakthrough in their lives. And one of the things that I'm passionate about is, I guess one thing that I specialize in would be to come alongside of individuals just like those that we're talking to, and be able to help them, assist them to gain their highest potential in life, whether it's personal potential in their personal lives, as well as their professional potential, as well as if they're business owners or entrepreneurs or employers or supervisors. So I love coming alongside of people and helping them reach their fullest human potential here. So I guess that would be my specialized response for that. But there's a lot of different things and arenas that we could talk about. But enough about me. I am excited about what you're bringing to the table, because this, to me, is very important in the times that we're living in, for sure.
And thanks so much for sharing your mission. It's quite an amazing one, and I'm delighted to have you here. Just to share with the audience, we're going to be focused on resilience today, which is a very, very important subject. And we all need to work on that because we're always going to be tested in our lives. So there isn't like, okay, I'm there. There's always we need to do more work on that part. So to get started, what is resilience? And like, why is it important for us to know about it?
Yes, I love that particular word, because resilience is being defined in the hour that we're living in right now. And that definition is when something happens and the resilience needed to get through that situation, that trauma, that trouble, that trial, that challenge is the key to allowing us to move forward in life rather than staying stuck or feeling pushed down or feeling depressed, anxiety, stressed out, burned out. There's a lot of things that happen if this topic, this word resilience, is not really active in a healthy way in our lives. It could really hinder people. It can hinder us. And there's times in my life where I know that my resilience to situations that have happened were low. I was feeling depressed. I was feeling discouraged. I was feeling a little hopeless. But we're going to talk about things about what we can do to get through those. But resilience to me is being able to bounce back. And I've got a little example. I kind of got like a little demonstration, if you would. So, for example, if you look at resilience in this tennis ball, right? This is a tennis ball, all right? So this tennis ball is got resilience in it. So when I don't know if I'll be able to capture it on here, but I'll bounce it on my floor. So let's see. There we go. So there, I got it. Okay. So see, I just bounced it and it bounced right back up. That's a resilient thing. Don't you think that this tennis ball has resilience built in it for a purpose? All right. So then you got different levels of resilience. So this one is like a little plastic waffle ball. So, both got resilience, but when I bounce this plastic, it's like, I really have to do it hard to be able to, for it to really bounce back, but it's got resilience built in it. Okay. So what I feel is that every human being has resilience built into them. We have resilience built into us, but over time and over things in life, if we're not dealing with it correctly, the resilience that's in us could end up becoming like this particular object, and you're gonna you might laugh at this one.
Okay.
Okay, so this is called an egg, right? So if I have an egg, I got my bowl. I'm gonna stand back a little bit. So
I love it.
if I drop this egg into the bowl, okay, let's see how much resilience that's gonna give me. Okay. No, none. No resilience.
Yeah.
If I pick it up and do it hard, oh my goodness, it's going to be worse. All right. So what's the meaning of that? So that's kind of a demonstration of resilience and the importance of it. So we want to have this type of resilience, and this type of resilience isn't going to help us. The kind that splatter. So we're either bouncing or we're splatting. And so if we learn to bounce through these situations, then we move forward. Then life becomes happy again. Life becomes joyful again. You know, we all go through sufferings, but we can't stay in the splatter state, because nothing happens in that place except harm and more unhealthy ways and things. So that's my little definition of resilience. What do you think?
I mean, I love it. I love visuals. So thank you so much.
All right.
So it's okay to fall, right? Because eventually
Yeah.
that's where life is taking us, but we have to learn and be prepared and kind of pick ourselves up, right? With the tools that you'll be sharing today, with everything that we're learning through books, podcasts, work and everything, right? So because sometimes we're having a hard time accepting, that we're gonna fall one day, or that we are falling as we speak, right?
Right, exactly. I mean, when we talk about going through stuff, it's not, it doesn't have any bias. You could be rich, you could be poor, you could be different religions, you could be different colors, races, genders. There's no bias when it comes to problems and trials. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So what does it mean to be resilient in one's career, as well as someone's like relationship or personal life? What does it mean exactly?
So
with the degrees and all of that.
Right. So when we look at resilience and being able to go through a process by which we can come out on the other side. If imagine this, okay, an eagle that flies into the storm, has wings, and when the resistance comes, the wings gives the eagle ability to soar above the storms, above the clouds. Right. So, but it has to stretch its wings. It has to, it's created to be able to do that. So it's almost like that resilience of when wind hits it, it actually lifts and propels the eagle even faster and farther, and it's less work. So, I think there's a skill that people can learn and understand how, when resistance comes, when the storm comes, how I could rise above it and allow that storm to push me forward, to push me up, to push me into that place of perfect peace. So, so resilience, there's a lot to it, but that's just a little portion what I feel like is important and what it means. Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like we have to train ourselves, right, and grow to become more resilient, right? And and kind of like learn how to face the upcoming adversities. And so it's almost like we cannot predict what's going to happen to us in the future, right? But we can do some work to strengthen our personalities, our thinking, right? The way how we see things, the way how we react, right?
Yes, absolutely. And what you're doing, on your show and in this time that we're having, I think you're really giving people an opportunity to see situations in a new light, in a way that's going to help them move forward. So this is a part of those skills needed when you face the situation. So no fear. So that's that number one thing is to be able to recognize If I'm afraid and I have fear and worry and anxiety, those things are going to are really going to weigh down on my resilience. Those things are going to try to pull those resilience out of me to make me a splatter, not like a tennis ball bouncer. So, understanding that fear is real and it's an emotion.
Yeah.
But there's things that we can help to overcome the anxiety, the worry, this, and just fear in itself, for sure. Yes.
Yeah, and so it's a way of like challenging yourself and getting out of your comfort zone, right? And sometimes we have to. I mean, we need to be loving and caring toward ourselves, but we have to be
Yes.
hard on ourselves sometimes so we can be prepared for what's coming next.
Right. Yep. Absolutely
And
agree.
so now we're gonna focus a little bit about your work and what you're doing. And so, based on your experience, how do you handle working with someone who seemingly lacks resilience, or someone, a family member or a friend? Like, how do you go about approaching it? Do you like tell them, hey, you're not where you should be, or like you just try to kind of like dig in and find, like, try to understand more about the situation that they are dealing with, and
Yeah.
then go through the process, step by step?
Absolutely. Yes. All that. Yes, for sure. Being able to listen when you're working with individuals that are or just talking to individuals that are going through situations where they feel discouraged, they feel depressed, they feel like they're stuck, right? And that resilience in them is not working.
Vicky.
So as a friend, as a family member, as an individual who has, we have to care for one another. We have to have compassion and love for people. I think that's so important. If you're really going to help, if I'm going to help someone, they have to know I care about them. And I do have love for them. I do have concern and compassion and empathy, being able to kind of just listen and have a listening ear to allow them to express what they're going through is gold. I mean, have you ever, when you're going through something, we're in our heads, we're in our minds, and then once we're able to actually talk about the issue, now it's like breath of fresh air.
The whole energy.
I think that's important. Listening, learning to listen to what they're saying and to understand how they're feeling, not what I'm going to say next or what I'm going to tell them, instruct them. I'm going to listen to feel with them. Like, let me get it. Let me try to put myself in their shoes, because when I do that, I go, I know how that feels.
Yeah.
I totally know how that feels.
Empathy.
So when my next something, what I say is going to be out of, because I feel that I have empathy towards that, so.
Yeah, and this is amazing, because I always discuss this subject with my family members and friends and colleagues, because we care a lot. Sometimes when someone comes with us and share their problems, the first thing we do is jump in the middle of the conversation and tell them they're wrong or they're right or they should or they shouldn't.
Right.
And that makes people sometimes mad, because the point of them coming to you, not to hear your opinion. First, they just want to, unload, like tell you how they feel and share those, like, fears and anxieties and whatever, like, they're dealing with, right? But we feel responsible to tell them what they should do, or if they're right or wrong. But like that, sometimes we just need someone to listen to us. And if they just listen without saying anything, there's like 80% of us feeling better, right? And what comes next is just like tools and best practices.
Absolutely agree. So that's an art in communication.
It is.
The best communicators are great listeners to me. It's not just being a talking head, but to be able to listen to what people say, because I can learn from that. Yeah. I'm not the expert. We're all in this life together. Yeah. And we can learn from one another. So approaching it I think that way, in more humility to people, I think will help. We might say one word of encouragement, and that's all they needed. Just that one word, but they needed somebody to listen. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, because sometimes we know the solutions to our problems. Most of the time we know what we should do next.
Mhm.
We just need to someone to kind of like guide us through it, or just listen to us so we can say those solutions out loud because we're afraid,
Right.
right? And also when we listen, we tend to analyze more and understand the person more, right? Because sometimes if we just hear half of what they want to say, we don't get the full picture.
That's right.
We listen to the whole conversation and we think about it thoroughly. We tend to actually empathize more and understand where they come from, not just, okay, I'm just listening to listen. So it's more intentional listening, right?
Right on. And that is definitely one of the ways that you can help put that resilience back into their heart, their mind, to move forward. Yes, absolutely.
And speaking of that, we're gonna move to adversity, since we're talking about family members, clients, friends talking to us about their problems. What's a simple way of describing adversity?
Yes, that is something that, again, this in the hour that we're living, people are facing adversity. So adversity is something that is a challenge, something that comes to your front door. Mr. Adversity knocks at the door, and you don't have a choice but to answer that door sometimes. I wish we could just be in our little comfort zone in our beds or in our couches and living rooms and just enjoy life, just drinking a cup of coffee, some tea or whatever you like, and just enjoying life. Wouldn't that be wonderful? I would love that.
I mean, who doesn't?
But Mr. Adversity comes knocking at the door and you answer it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is not pleasant. And I can think of situations right now in families that I'm working with that the adversity is unbelievable. Like you wouldn't, it's the worst. And one example is working with this family that lost their mother and father with this in this pandemic to COVID. Mother the father went first. A week later, the mother died, and now there's 3 kids there at the house. So that's extreme. That is, but that's real. That's real life. People losing things, people being divorced, people going through loss and grief. So that to me is a very those are tragedies. Those are things that adversities that come. And words don't work that much in that point. You know what works is standing there, showing up at their door, weeping with them, crying with them, hugging them. Don't need a lot of words. Just be there. Just show up. Show that you care, that you're there. And when the time comes, then there will be times that will be time for you to say something. So adversity is real. It's not always pleasant. When adversity comes knocking at the door, we have to answer it, but with faith. And so the important thing is that you're not alone. I'm not alone, right? We have people in our lives. I mean, look at you're certified with the John Maxwell team. I'm certified with the John Maxwell team. We're certified speaker coaches and trainers, and we have the network of people all over this world that we can count on. I mean, you are all the way in Washington, right? And you're from Morocco, and I'm all the way here in Las Vegas, and here we are supporting one another. And that is amazing to me. That is awesome. I love that. Yeah.
No, it's like we have known each other forever, right? And we're like sitting talking.
Right. Because we have like-minded. We have a desire to connect. But that support system when adversity hits is definitely one of the solutions.
And we're connected on the human level, which is very important.
Yeah.
Our energies are crossing each other's, because you might know people in your life that you were born and close to or whatever, and
right.
But it's not something, there isn't that connection, right? Sometimes you connect with people outside of your environment, like it's almost similar to people that
It's true. It's almost like their family, that my second family or something. Like it's just, it is what it is, and we're meant to be connected.
Yeah.
for a purpose, for a reason. So I love what you're doing. What we're talking about is real. So that's extreme adversity. And then adversity can come in different forms. Adversity can be physical adversity. We talked about physical afflictions we go through.
Yeah.
I mean, things that I have gone through physically, even from when I was just like 3 years old, being in the hospital for a month, going through surgery. I mean, that I didn't ask for that. I'm helpless. I'm completely dependent on the people around me. And that's why the support is so important for adversity to overcome, to build the resilience that we need to overcome that adversity. So the more resilient we get, the better we'll get through these things. It doesn't mean it's going to not stop hurting. It will hurt, but you'll hurt. And you know what? You can hurt with a smile. You can hurt with a joy in your heart, because there is hope that, this tunnel is going to be, there's light at the end of the tunnel. This will not last forever. Yeah.
Adversity is a sad thing, obviously, but does it make us stronger with time? And if it's yes, how can something, like I would say negative that touches us deeply, but meanwhile it makes us stronger and gives us that fuel and courage to help others who are going through similar situations or worse or better? How are we able to process all of this as human beings?
Right. I mean, if we look back on our lives, and this is for us personally as well, those that are listening, if you look back on your life, okay, whatever age you're at right now, you're 20, you're 30, you're 40, 50, 60, 70, 80s, right? You look back and you see the different incidences, the different chapters of your life where there was, great, things happening, you were climbing, you were moving forward, the business was great. And then the next chapter, your business is lost, you're just going down, your finances are down, maybe you went through a divorce, maybe there's relationship issues that have happened in your family, and there's some division going on and fighting. The good thing is that if you are, and I am alive today, those chapters are not over. That book is not over. It's still being written. The next chapter is your comeback chapter. So if you're in that setback chapter, and a good story, a good plot has drama, has, adversities. It has, overcoming the good, overcoming the evil with good. And there's all these different scenarios to make that life exciting. So adversity, all of a sudden now, is going to be your catapult for your comeback, for your breakthrough, for, wow, I went through that. If you look at all the things that you and I have gone through from the time I was a child, the time I was 3, almost dying, I am alive. So now I'm more thankful. I'm thankful for every day that I have a day of breath, because, that could not be, I could have been gone a long time ago, but here I am. So yes. The fact that I've gone through this far gives me hope that I can still make it. If I wake up tomorrow morning and I got that other breath, then that's a good sign that says I'm going to make it and things are going to be okay. So having that positive outlook, that perspective of life when adversity hits, and think about it when we're working out, right? What is the way to build your muscle? Is through resistance, through that, that weight. You're like, oh my gosh, and the pain, oh my gosh, right? And then the results, though. That's what we want. We want like, I don't know, like Arnold Schwarzenegger or nothing, but we want to be in shape, right? So we can enjoy life a little better.
Yeah, we want to look good. And this is something I've been focused on lately, is that quick fix mentality that we have to try to shift from, because life comes with challenges and adversities and, bad and good. But like this idea of like, if I want to, I don't know, like, as you said, like, build some mass or weight, I need to, I can just take a pill or like some Instagram, like, formula or something. And
you can't read it. You can't read it.
And so that's not gonna work. And it's so easy to make people believe that you can do that, right? Like, if you look back at me, last year, I lost like 35 pounds because I went through sickness, right? And I had to undergo surgery, and then I started picking my weight back. but I could have easily like gone on social media and posted myself before and after, me looking good now. I took this treatment, whatever, right? I mean, but there isn't things are not the way they look all the time, right? So that hard work is important for every aspect of our lives.
Yes, yes.
Who
So
we
the
have.
adversity is not easy, but we can turn it from a negative into a positive. It can work out actually for our good. And there's situations where we thought was an adversity was actually an advancement for us.
Yeah.
Maybe it was in a situation in a workplace where you were fired. They let you go unjustly, and you felt unjustly fired or whatever. But now look at you. You're in maybe a whole new career field that you actually love and care for.
Yeah, you
So we
found
have
yourself
to
in the right.
trust that things will work out.
Yeah,
And
and
so,
same applies for relationships, for friends. Sometimes
yes.
you don't end up with the right, you don't marry someone that you thought you were gonna marry, or you lose friendship, or things don't work out in like interview, or like internship or whatever, and you think that's the end of the world for you. That's it. You're not lucky. You're the only person who suffers. Everyone's
Oh my gosh.
happy. And then you sit back and you start reflecting a few like months later or years later, and you're like, oh my God, I saved myself from that tunnel.
Yes,
Going
yes.
the wrong path.
So
And
good. So good.
takes time sometimes to realize that bad things can be good in the long run, right?
Yes, and that is the key is give it time, give it time. People, like you said, they want a quick fix. We're a microwave nation. You
Yeah.
know, no, make sometimes it's in the oven, or on the pot, it's got to stew a while
Yeah,
for
and
it
it
to
has more
really.
flavor.
Yes, right. I'm sure you like to cook, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Moroccan tagines and Moroccan cuisine. That meal takes like 2 hours for God's sakes, and it's like,
Now you're making me hungry now.
yeah,
Okay.
but the taste, I mean, you cannot. The taste is like, it's like you just can't. You just if once you taste that meal, you're gonna trash your microwave.
Can't fix it in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It has to have time to
Yes,
simmer.
to get
Oh,
those results, right? To get that taste, you need to.
yes, absolutely. So that's when we're talking about helping people get through these issues, this is important topic. These are real discussions. This isn't hype, or this is like real life. And
Yeah.
I know it's adding value to your listeners, as well as it's adding value to myself too. Mhm.
Of course. What gives you the courage and motivation to be on the coaching space, to dedicate your life and time helping others? And I'm sure sometimes you do it without thinking about like profit, sometimes do it out of kindness as well, human.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because exactly, wealth is not just financial. The new wealth today to me is health, and health, mental health, emotional health, and physical health, and spiritual health. Those four areas. And so when I think of and what gets me going, what keeps me inspired for 30 years, over 20,000 individuals that I have coached face to face, either in face to face, one-on-one, or small groups situations. And it doesn't get old. It's just I get energized when we're doing this, like what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Like I could tell my passion it helps me when I'm feeling down or whatever, and I'm helping somebody else.
Yeah.
I'm helping myself too.
I
So
feel the energy coming through your video.
yeah, and I'm helping myself too. So because I feel the same. So it's like, wow. So that's the power of networking and creating those support. So what the main thing for me is I am a man of faith, and I have the faith to know that I'm not in this life for my own purpose, that there's a higher design, and God that created me and put me on this earth for a purpose, and that is to help myself, not only myself, my own family, and friends, but also this world. So be a solution. There's too many critics, there's too many people who are calling out problems, but be a solutionist. And too many drug dealers. You know what kind of dealers we need to be? Is hope dealers. So I'm a hope dealer. All right. So I've got some hope for you.
I've never heard of it before, but I love it.
I've got some hope for you. It doesn't cost anything. And you know what? The results is you're not going to be addicted to something that's going to put you down, but you're going to be addicted to like, wow, this hope, this positivity, this empowerment. And then you're going to help somebody else. That's the whole goal. Help someone so they can help others. And it just goes on and on and on. Yes.
That is such an honorable, way of thinking and living as well. And so I wanted to ask you something, because a lot of people think when they have problems, they need to, kind of focus on themselves and, get stuck with their problems and just like try to figure things out because they're too ashamed to share, or they're just not feeling okay. But in reality, if you step outside of your little bubble, right? You start helping people. Even during that time where you have problems, you start feeling better, because it's not only about us, right? It's about you and me and everybody else, right? So how are you able to balance between your personal, adversities and other people adversities?
Yeah, I mean, to be able to, when you're going through something and you're coaching other clients, like I do executive coaching as well. So with business owners. So, when I show up, I have to show up 100%. So regardless of what I'm going through. So it's almost like if there was something like, you step into your workplace, right? You step in things that you have, your responsibility, you're a mother, right? You're a business owner. So when you go through things as well, with the kids, if something's going wrong with the kids, or you have to take care of the family or the husband, and so on and so forth. So but when you show up in this situation, we learn to take those things and they're still part of us. Maybe just put it to the just side just for a moment. Just kind of let me just not focus on that right now. I'm going to focus on you. And for me, there's perfect peace here. We've got a great relationship going. There's no animosity. There's no problems. There's no conflict. It's just we're on the same page. And that interaction right there, all of a sudden gives to me a boost of, just if you think physiologically, a serotonin boost, a boost that's a chemical in your brain that allows you to actually feel happier. So the interaction actually is making you feel better. So just, it's a really cool thing. And then, so in that space, now I'm feeling better. I'm feeling good now. I'm clear. I'm focused. And me helping you now is going to actually give me that boost of encouragement and resilience, more resilience to go back to that thing that I put to the side. So when I pick it back up, okay, yeah. I got fresh air. Okay, I can, I may got the air knocked out of me before, but I got my air back. Okay, let's handle this, right? Yeah. So I don't know, that's just kind of.
Yeah, exactly. So by helping me, you're helping yourself, and vice versa. Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so, and that was one of my my main motivation behind starting a podcast, focused on emotional and mental health, because I went through a lot in my life. And I realized that if it wasn't for people's support, and me like working on self-growth and all of that, personally, like development piece, I wasn't going to be able to handle so many things that I did in the past. And so I was like, but it doesn't end here. I should be given, right? Not just taken. Yeah. So, and that's when the idea started. And wow. I just want to share with the audience that this is about them today, not about you and I.
Right.
And so, and exactly, that's the point. What are like some of the tools that we can share with the audience today to help with adversities and strengthen their resilience as they move into life's journey?
That's excellent. And this is, I got some of these things. I also facilitate healthcare individuals, like in healthcare, nurses, doctors. I facilitate this 8-week course, and it's, we deal, they're dealing with a lot of depression, anxiety, stress, and even suicide. So, that's the extreme unhealthy way of handling what we're talking about is people they give up and literally check out of this life. So I feel that this topic is so important because we want to give everybody, ourselves, including your listeners, the opportunity to say, hey, don't give up. It's gonna be okay. It will be okay. Right now, it's not, may not feel that way. It may feel like the world is crushing in on you. There's no way out, but there is a way out. We want to encourage you. We've gone through stuff personally in our own lives, and just hearing your story is phenomenal. How what you emotional things you went through and gone through, and even physically, those things need to be shared on your podcast too. Yes. So I know you are. So we want to encourage the people to stay, don't lose hope. And some of the things that when I was looking, there's a lot of different ways of coping, but this one area on 3 areas that I want to focus in on is just, I think it'll be helpful. I really do. So there's different coping skills that you can have. Some are negative coping skills that we deal with when it comes to adversity and going through issues. And that would be like, extreme, people get into drugs, people start medicating themselves in a negative way. I mean, sometimes if medication is needed, obviously there needs to be a doctor involved with that. Sometimes therapy definitely is important in those processes. But here's some positive coping skills to overcome adversities when they knock on the door and they come into your house, and it's like, okay, how do I overcome this, Mr. Adversity? All right, so physically, let's look at just some physical, practical ways. So your sleep. Okay, it's important that you sleep 7 to 9 hours, as they're saying, 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Some people, get away with 4 or 5 hours. I don't know how that happens, but I know when I don't have enough sleep, my mind is foggy. So important your sleep. Eating healthy foods. All right. So eating basic, and again, that's all things that coaching assists, program, individual, you people that can listen to this, like, okay, these are things that I can do, but I need someone next to me to help me with this. And that's where your expertise comes in too. So regular meals, make sure you're eating regular meals, vitamin supplements. I mean, these are the simple things. So I'm reminding some of you that may know this, but these are on a physical level. So guess what? Hugs and affection is really good for you. All right. I don't know about you, but I love hugs. I love affection. Right. And so that is something that we design. When we have that touch, it releases a chemical called oxytocin. So it is like a natural high that's released in your brain when just by the touch. When you have a loving, caring touch, that's important. So don't forget to hug every day, right? And then schedule daily routines. So it's important when you get up, you have an idea of what your day is, your tasks. So and get into a routine is important. If you work out, you schedule this, you work, have a daily routine. So these are things that will help you stay focused. All right. And the next, and I've got a lot more. I'm going to share one more on the physical, is quiet times, time to just reflect and just have you time, on something that you're grateful for, like your ability to stop and reflect on something that you're grateful for is a great tool. So now that's on the physical. Now the second if you're surrounded, right?
I lost you on when you were saying about when you were transitioning into the emotional.
Oh yeah. So on the emotional part is the positive relationships important. Okay. And we talked about the positive relationships we have with one another. And sometimes it's not in the family. Yeah. Sometimes you go through the situation right now, the family is not a necessarily positive relationship. So guess what? You can get that positive relationship outside of the family. Yeah. That's where coaching comes in. That's where it may be your coach. It may be a friend or whoever that might be. That's putting positive things. And then building positive self-esteem. Don't you agree that adversity whittles away at our self-esteem? We think, what did I do? I'm a failure. This relationship didn't work out. I got divorced.
I'm not enough.
I'm not enough. Right. And those are not true statements. Those are all lies that adversity will try to tell you sometimes, but you need that positive voice to come along. Like you have, this podcast is that positive voice for your listeners to say, you're going to be okay. You are more than enough. There's greatness inside of you. You know, those affirmations. I am blessed. I am loving. I am caring. I am going to be overcoming this.
Yeah, and I deserve to be happy.
Yeah, I am going to be happy. I am happy, right? All right. So emotionally, you know, have someone to talk about your anger, anxieties, and your apathies. You know, being able to really just open up and share, I'm really upset. Because a lot of times discouragement or depression is anger turned inward. Okay. If you look at it's anger, you know, and if it's not expressed in a healthy way, we can sometimes turn it inward. And I've worked with youth in a mental health facility for 10 years. And working with these young people, kids as young as 7 years old, that were wanting to commit suicide or hurt others or hurt themselves by self-cutting, mutilating. I mean, these beautiful kids that, you know, went through abuse, went through sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, abandonment. I mean, the worst case scenario kids, you know, God put me in that atmosphere, front lines, not just once a week, but I live with these kids to help them get transitioned into emotional stability. And you know what? It was like they needed like a father figure. They need a mother figure, someone that would bring that support, that because they didn't have that healthy way. So really, yeah. So it's really important to really be able to express what's going on and not deal with it and have someone to talk to. So that's why we're we're not therapists, we're coaches. So there's a fine line. Where do you transition from what do I need a coach or do I need a therapist? Again, you know, those are things to discuss. And as a coach, if I feel like, you know, there's some emotional trauma that needs to be dealt with, you know, post-traumatic stress disorder, you know, then I'm gonna coach them, but I'm gonna also refer them to a therapist too, as well.
We work together.
We do have referrals for therapists as well. So counseling is important. Doing good for others. These are emotional wellness. We talked about this. Short-term goals, having goals in life, having a vision of what you want to do this next year. Now, not 10 years from now, but just next year. Let's see, these next 365 days, this is what I want to create. This is
short-term vision.
Yes, vision. So clarity on vision, helping them. And that's what we do as coaches, right? We help people get clear. Reading good books, reading books that feed your soul, listening to music that is ministers to your soul, and watching positive things. Not, you know, you go on Facebook, there's a lot of negativity. But a lot of my Facebook, I go on there, I get encouraged because all my friends are John Maxwell team members. It's not all of them, but most.
And so, safe zone.
Right. And you get that, man, you just get that positive statement. You get that video that's encouraging. It's powerful. So that's emotional. Now, last one. Do we have time to move forward?
Yeah, we have like 2 minutes.
Okay. So the last one is spiritual. So the next thing in dealing with adversity, we talked about physical things. We talked about emotional things. And now what are some of the spiritual things? Because that is a big part of all of our lives, whether we acknowledge that or not. I know it is for me. For me, prayer, meditation, huge deal, huge game changer for me. I know that when I have that time to pray and take my cares and anxieties and worries to someone that's bigger than me, that can handle it all, and I cast my cares on him because he cares for me, that's a game changer for me for that day. I can have peace of mind. I can tap into that peace of mind just by praying. So someone says, well, do something. Prayer is doing something, actually. It's not passive. Prayer is very proactive. Some like inspirational books. For me, the Bible, Psalms or Proverbs, things that will inspire my mind to think on a whole new level. Inspirational music. I love inspirational music,
Yeah.
and allows me to express my gratitude to my creator. And you have support groups through church, small groups, right? Through faith-based, your faith-based community
Yes,
is,
I mean every
right?
religion have like groups where people can, go to and express their faith and their gratitude and connect.
Exactly. So, and so those there I got so much more. So
Yeah.
I'm going to send you this,
Yes.
and you can have this available for your readers as well. So
Yeah.
thank you for the time.
Of course, just to let the audience know, I will include all this information on the description box, and I will include your work, details as well, your website, if anyone wants to reach out to you directly. I can't thank you enough for this amazing presentation and all this valuable information that you shared with us today. I'm sure they will find it fun and very, very, very informative. So thank you so
Yeah.
much for your time. It's a pleasure having you here today. And hopefully we'll have you another time here.